second half. And yeah, just like we spoke about at halftime, the first half, not being brave enough with the ball, not being brave enough against the ball, which, caused this uphill battle for us. But I'm proud of the guys in the second half for pushing the way they did. Thought Jovan should have had a penalty on his instance there where he gets cleaned out from the back. But yeah, we do earn and get back in the game. Just unfortunate we couldn't get it over the line at the end there.
Bradley, this is 2 games where you guys have not scored a goal from run of play against MLS opponents. What's your level of concern with the connection in the attack so far this year?
Yeah, so that's something that, if you look at all our chances today in transition, what we created, all the moments we've had, all the shots we took, I think it's just about getting that sort of, I don't want to say chemistry. I thought there was some nice, good transitional moments out there, and just that final pass, the final execution. But I thought, excuse me, I thought it was way better than it was in DC. Yeah, I thought it was way better, and I didn't see that as the major problem today.
Bradley, what went into the decision to take a penalty for Indy to be the penalty taker? I know most of the normal penalty takers by that point were off the field. Do you interject there, or is that something you let the players figure out in that situation?
Yeah, listen, we have Bruno, we have Milan. When those guys aren't on the field, then it's next man up, and Indy showed a bit of courage then and decided, it was to take it. I thought Makanya does take a good penalty as well, so he would have been one as well that could step up. But yeah, I'm happy for Indy. Stepped up, took on the responsibility, and that's what it's about. We're looking for leadership. We're looking for guys to stand up when the team needs them most, and there's a lot of guys that put up their hand, and I thought it showed a mature moment from Indy there. That's all good.
Show about Stas, we talked about him on Thursday too, but within a minute, he has a shot on target.
Yep.
He's the one who earns the penalty that
Sure.
stood. For him to continuously make this impact, what does it show you about what he's able to contribute, I guess, for the long haul?
Yeah, I think everyone can see what he can contribute. I think everyone can see what he brings to the table. He's really difficult to play against. He uses his body really well, and he's pretty savvy with his decision making. So, and he's worked his socks off. He came into preseason really sharp, really healthy, really fit, and that gave him a jump ahead of some of the other guys. And then the reward starts to come with him. And you can see the more confidence he gets, the more exposure he gets, the more minutes he gets, and he plays a real contribution here tonight. And just unfortunate, like I said, for all the effort that the guys put in, that we don't earn at least a tie or even have enough chances in abundance to win the game. So now we left with 0 points in the first 2 games, and this is something that has to be our full focus now going into the next stretch of games here.
Bradley, we know that you preach often and instilled in the guys quickness of transition attack, getting down the field in as few passes as possible, creating the scoring chances
Sure.
in as few passes as possible. Maybe it was just the view from upstairs that it just seemed today at times it was a little slower than maybe you might want it. What did you see from field level in terms of the quickness of creating the scoring chances?
Yeah, I thought in the first half we broke lines and then couldn't get the shots off, right? Or the pass goes behind us instead of in front of us. So yeah, just some of those fluid movements, whether it's in behind first pass or whether it's on same side or weak side, we weren't just able to execute at the highest level. But yeah, listen, we know there's a bit of work to do. We know we're not quite where we need to be, and that's totally understandable. But it's no excuses either. Obviously the team's not happy, and a lot of it is self-inflicted over the last 2 weeks. If you look at that, 2 red cards in 2 games, and this is something when one guy is disconnected or when one red card happens, then we have a mountain. We've created a mountain ourselves to climb. So this is something, and we knew we have a young, hungry squad, and sometimes the moment gets bigger. Gets to us a little bit. and this we have to learn, we have to grow, and we have to have these experiences that, some guys need, to step up a little bit in terms of their leadership, to step up in terms of their composure, and when we need to have a calming voice, and when we need to have a presence in a different way. But yeah, some of our stuff over the last 2 weeks, from a disciplinary standpoint, is probably substandard, and which leaves us a mountain of work to do.
Early stages of the game, you had Carnell in a wider and a little bit deeper position,
Sure.
and Ilosky, one of the forwards, and now you flipped them
Yeah.
after a while. But what was the verdict on that initial setup for you?
On the initial one, to have Milan up top.
Yeah, and Carnell wider and deeper.
Yeah, just thinking that Milan has some more depth in his running in behind. And that's what we wanted in the first half. Didn't really work out that way. And then I thought, when Augie goes up top, especially in the second half, the first 15 minutes before he came off, I thought we created a bunch and kind of set the tone again, what we wanted to do, and be more on the jump and be more proactive instead of reactive. And I thought that's how we got back in the game a little bit. So, maybe it's just accustomed to him. We're still trying to get Augie had one training session with us yesterday. We decided to throw him in for 60 minutes. So, I thought he did well, grew into the game and got much better as time went on. Just trying to find guys and put them into the piece of the puzzle too.
Last couple with Greg.
Bradley, when you play a team like New York who can kind of spread the ball around the way they do, your team kind of had a little trouble pressing them. Is that a little bit of early season, mixture of players, or just the opponent's ability to pass the ball?
We turned over the ball a bunch, I felt, so it's maybe that like transition kind of moment where then they break a line or two, and then it's about big recovery runs. But yeah, I don't think they troubled us too much on their build-outs or the goal kicks. And like I said, more when we won the ball, and then maybe there weren't some of those sequences that we would take another couple seconds to then get our shape and get our transition shape and structure there. And when you lose the ball again, then it becomes dangerous for them, because then our defenders are not up and tight enough, and then we're not able to have the counter pressure measures that we have. Then becomes a bit of a stretch. But yeah, I thought for the second half, and this is where we thrive in the chaos, and when it looks uncomfortable for us, but then you got Jeff Seri Larson flying in, you got Makanya stepping through, you got Nate who had a great game stepping through and breaking down the plays. So and we feel comfortable in these uncomfortable moments, what maybe looks like from the outside, but this is how we play. We're always on that razor's edge, the knife's edge of between what's traditional soccer and how we do things, and I feel those are the moments we feel most comfortable in, when it's a bit chaotic.
It's been 2 MLS games where you all have been chasing an equalizer for much of the game. You mentioned the sluggish start tonight. What's the fix for that going forward, for the sluggish starts and chasing the game?
Yeah, it's about being more brave, being a little bit more proactive, being a bit more, on the front foot, whether you're with the ball or without the ball, and be more deliberate with our actions. And I think that's like those key phrases. You can put a whole ton of principles into the game model, and that's something we have to work at, And listen, the guys are not happy in there. They're disappointed. They knew this one got away for us. We knew we deserved. And yeah, there's no. You lost the game. There's no points, so you didn't deserve anything. But the guys know there was more here for us to be had during the game. And I think if we started the way we played the second half, I think for sure we get a result.